Good morning, children. How are you all? Today we are going to start a new lesson from supplementary reading. Lesson number 4, A Question of Trust, written by Victor Canning. A Question of Trust. Our writer Victor Canning, who wrote many novels and thrilling stories in English. Our lesson, A Question of Trust, is also included in the category of thrilling story. Everyone thought that Horace Danby was a good, honest citizen. The main character of this lesson is Horace Danby. All people believed that Horace Danby was a man of goodness, good behavior, good virtues, and also a trustful person, honest person, sincere person. He was about 51 years old and unmarried. Yes, Horace Danby was a man of 51 years old and who was unmarried, not married. And he lived with a housekeeper who worried over his health, yes, who stayed with a housekeeper. Housekeeper was always worried about his health. In fact, he was usually very well and happy except for attacks of hay fever in summer. Yes. Why housekeeper was always worried about his health? Because during summer season he was having little hay fever, a kind of fever. Hay fever means a kind of fever. One type of fever. Otherwise he was totally fit and fine. During summer season he was having hay fever. He made locks and was successful enough at his business to help us. Yes, his business was for making locks and selling it in the market. His business was going good. Who has to help us also? Yes, Horace Danby was good and respectable, but not completely honest. Yes, because of his position in society, he was respected by the people. People were respected him, but as far as reality is concerned, this man is not fully honest, not fully trustworthy. In front of people, he was looking as a sincere person, honest person, trustworthy person. But in reality, he was not at all fully trustworthy. 15 years ago, Horace had served his first and only sentence in a prison library. Why? Why he was not fully honest? Because 15 years ago, once he was put in prison, he got sentenced, he got punishment. He was put in prison for what? For robbing, for stealing library books, because he loved rare expensive books. Yes, his hobby is to read rare and expensive books. Rare and expensive, very expensive, very costly books. So he robbed a safe every year. Yes, because of his hobby to read rare and expensive book, he used to strong metal box with a lock. He used to stay safe every year. Each year he planned carefully just what he would do. Stored enough to last for 12 months. Every year he was planning. What shall I do? Where shall I steal? What shall I steal? To whom I rob? For what? That will help him to live happily for 12 months. And secretly bought the books he loved through an agent. After robbing, after stealing, he gave money to an agent, a mediator, for what? For purchasing rare and expensive books. For what? For reading. Now walking in the bright July sunshine, he felt sure that this year's robbery was going to be as successful as all the others. Yes, every year he was planning whose house would be robbed, would be stolen. So that year he was planned to rob a big or a rich house. In a bright July sunshine, he felt sure that this year's robbery was going to be as successful as all the others. He thought that this year's robbery would be one of the biggest robbery in his life. For 2 weeks, he had been studying the house of Short Grange, looking at its rooms, its electric wiring, its park, and its garden. Yes, he planned to rob a house on that year. That house was at Short Grange. He had been studying, not suddenly going to steal. He planned and he studied the particular building, about its electric wiring, about its rooms, parks, garden, etc. He was studying everything before his attempt to steal. So he studied everything about Grange house. This afternoon, the 2 servants who remained in the Grange while the family was in London had gone to the movies. Yes, that house was a big house. Now the house is looking after by 2 servants. The owners of this house were in London. So the servants decided that to go for movie. They went to see movie. Horace saw them go, and he felt happy in spite of a little tickle of hay fever in the nose. Yes. He was observing. He found that they have gone. The 2 servants have gone to theatre to see movie. He was very happy. By seeing it, he was very happy in spite of a little tickle. Tickle means light sensation. Light sensation of what? Sneezing. He came out from behind the garden wall, his tools carefully packed in a bag on his back. Yes. He decided everything. He found the 2 servants went away. Then he wanted to implement his work. So he came from backside into the garden wall, and he kept all tools, and he had a bag on his back. There were about 15,000 pounds worth of jewels in the grain safe. Yes, he came to know there were about 15,000 pounds valuable jewels kept by owners in grains safe box. If he sold them one by one, he expected to get at least 5,000, enough to make him happy for another year. Yes. He thought, if I sell those jewels one by one, each jewel gives him around 5,000 pounds. That would help him to live happily for another year. There were 3 very interesting books coming up for sale in the autumn, and also he thought that if I steal grain safe, it has around 15,000 pounds valuable jewels. If I sell it one by one, it may help me to live happily for 1 year, and also I could buy newly publishing book of this year, which will be in the autumn season. Now he would get the money he wanted to buy them. Yes, he was in a hurry. How could I get money to buy those books? So today, if I steal this safe, I could get money for buying those rare, expensive books. He was very happy. He had seen the housekeeper hang the key to the kitchen door on a hook outside. Yes, then he checked the key. Then he found the key of iron safe, which had kept by the housekeeper, where to the kitchen door on the hook outside. He put on a pair of gloves, took the key and opened the door. Yes, then he wore gloves and took the key and he opened the door. He was always careful not to leave any fingerprints. Why he did wear gloves? Because to avoid fingerprints. To avoid fingerprints, he used to wear gloves, so nobody will catch him. A small dog was lying in the kitchen. Yes, in the kitchen there was a small dog. It started to cry, bark, made a noise, and moved its tail in a friendly way. Yes, it started to bark. Later, it had short to move its tail as friendly way. All right, Sherry. He called the dog Sherry. The name of the dog is Sherry. That's why he said that he was studying each and everything very minutely before his attempt. He knew the name of the dog, that was Sherry. When he called Sherry, then the dog thought that this person is a non-person. That's why it moved its tail as if to show friendly. Horus said, and he passed. All you have to do to keep dogs quiet was to call them by their right names. It was his trick. If he called the name of the dogs at the right time, they will think that this person is a non-person, a member of this house, and show them love. The same was in the drawing room behind a rather poor painting. Yes, he knew all things he was knowing. He knew that the iron safe which was kept in the drawing room and it has fixed behind a rather poor painting. Horace wondered for a moment whether he should collect pictures instead of books. In that room there were many beautiful pictures. Once he confused whether to collect pictures instead of books. But they took up too much room. In a small house, books were better, but there were many pictures, so it was unable to take everything. But if we keep books, it is good for keeping in a small room. There was a great bowl of flowers on the table, and Horace felt his nose tickle. There was a big pot of flowers, bowl, pot of flowers which he kept on the table. That smell of the flower made him to tickle, light sensation of sneezing. Time to sneeze. He gave a little sneeze and then put down his bag. He gave little sneeze and put down his bag. He carefully arranged his tools. He had 4 hours before the servants returned. Yes, and he is in duty to stay. He put his tools down. He had 4 hours. After movie completes, they will come back. So he had 4 hours. Within the 4 hours, he had to rob. He had to steal. The safe was not going to be hard to open. Yes, the safe was not going to be hard to open. Yes, he didn't face any trouble to open the safe. After all, he had lived with locks and safes all his life. Yes, why? It is easy for him because this man is a man of making locks. So he knows how to open. That's why that iron safe lock was easy to open for him. The burglar alarm was poorly built. The robbery alarm was poorly built. That was also helped him to do his work easily. There was a poor alarm fixed there, so it had not made any noise when there was an attempt to rob, steal. He went into the hall to cut its wire. Yes. Then he cut the wire of the alarm. It will never make any noise, any alarm. He came back and sneezed loudly, and the smell of the flowers came to him again. Yes. Because the smell of the flowers made him to sneeze again and again. That time he made loud sneeze. He sneezed loudly. How foolish people are when they own valuable things. Horace thought. Yes. How foolish people. They are in London. Then they kept their valuable things in the iron safe. Why did they bring it? Keep it here. A magazine article had described this house, giving a plan of all the rooms and a picture of this room. Yes, that building, that room, that house was a big house. Once the specialities of that house had mentioned in a magazine. So that magazine had read by him. He had studied each and every room of this house, and also they had mentioned there was an iron safe in the room for keeping their valuable things. So as far as a thief is concerned, as far as Horace Granby is concerned, it was sufficient for him to get knowledge for knowing everything about that house. The writer had even mentioned that the painting hid a safe, and the writer also mentioned the most secret thing in the house, that is a safe which had kept behind the poor painting. That day onwards, it is in his mind to steal. but he didn't get an opportunity. Today he got an opportunity. But Horace found that the flowers were hindering him in his work. Yes, because of the flowers, again and again he is sneezing. Because of the presence of flowers, hindering, stopping, obstacling him to do his work. He buried his face in his handkerchief. Again and again he was sneezing. Then he heard a voice say from the doorway, "What is it? A cold or hay fever?" When he was in sneezing, loudly sneezing, he heard somebody was asking him, "What happened? Are you not well? Are you feeling fever? Whether it is cold or hay fever?" Before he could think, Horace said, "Hay fever," and found himself sneezing again. Yes. Without thinking anything, he said, "Yes, hay fever." He replied to the question asked by somebody. He said, "Hay fever," and he started to sneeze again. The voice went on, "You can cure it with a special treatment. You know, if you find out just what plant gives to the disease." The person said him that you can get treatment that will help you to cure your disease, hay fever. Firstly, you must know which plant is making you to sneeze. Which plant's flower is making you to sneeze? Which plant's flower is making an allergy to you? I think you would better see a doctor if you are serious about your work. Then the person said, "If you want to do this type of work, you must be serious. You must be diagnosed. Otherwise, you will be caught. You will make sneeze. Your sneezing will not allow you to do your job successfully." "I heard you from the top of the house just now." "Yes, I heard you were sneezing. That is why I come down. I was in the room of top. I was staying in top room. That's why the person said him, "We don't know. We will come to you later." Who said him? He thought that there were no men, no person. He found both the servants went away. So who was a person? He studied the thing in the house very well. He found owners were in London. There were only 2 servants. He had studied the house many days, but he didn't know a third person who is living in this house. Who is that fellow? And we don't. We will study it later. I wind up here now. It is an interesting story. Very easy story. You may understand well, read well.